Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple murders that took place on the 13th of November 2022. May the 4 victims rest in peace, condolence to their families, and may justice be served.
Anyone would drink wine?
I'll have some wine.
I didn't even think of it really because, I'm not a big drinker, but maybe I should have something.
You're not a big drinker?
Did anybody do their chores today? Fuck, I'm just gonna do it.
Kaylee and Maddie visited the corner club that's located in Idaho, Moscow. We can see Kaylee and Maddie standing there near Jack D. Jack D was the last person the girls contacted. Kaylee called him 7 times and Maddie called him thrice. On the right-hand side, we have Adam sitting there. Adam was the person Kaylee and Maddie were talking to while they were walking towards the grub truck. Jack Showalter was with the girls. He walked them to the to the grub truck, and that is when the girls were last seen. Adam is crucial to this case, I believe, because Kaylee sounded upset when she asked Maddie, "What did you tell Adam?" And Maddie said, "I told him like everything." I wonder what was told to Adam, and whatever was told, I wonder if he told anyone else. The house was known to be a party house. Many students partied there. Obviously, these are young college students. This is one of the police body cams. That is Kaylee with the police officer getting a warning for the noise complaint. This is another body cam from the police, again for a noise complaint. You clearly see Hunter Johnson and another young man who's a student who said that he did not know who lived in the house and that he just came over for a party. He said that the people that live in this house aren't there, so the police spoke to Madison Morgan over the phone and told them to keep the noise down. There's been many complaints and many body cams where you clearly see there was an issue with the noise complaint and that many people seem to come to this house. This is Hunter Johnson from the Sigma Chi. Hunter, I assume, is going to be an important witness when the trial begins, because Hunter was called by the surviving roommates because allegedly they believed that somebody was unconscious and the door of Xano's room wouldn't open. Hunter came there. He was one of the people to call 911. I do not understand why the surviving roommates did not call 911 directly, because it had already gone 8 hours. Hunter allegedly checked either Xan or Eaton's pulse, and the police were called to 1122 Kings Road. That's when it became this horrific crime scene. 4 victims were brutally murdered. Trigger warning. The killer was supposed to have used the sliding door or one of the windows to come into. It was said that the sliding door was left open, but we are still not sure what entrance was used. I personally believe that the grub truck is a very important place in this case because Maddie and Kaylee was last seen there before they ordered a private ride that drove them home. There was a lot of suspicious behaviors going on in the grub truck. People were actually behaving very odd. And there was a crowd yelling Xana's name a couple of times. Xana wasn't in the grub truck, so there shouldn't be any reason for a whole crowd calling Xana's name. There were many people who were watching concerning things on their mobile device. We have Jovito, who said that he did not know Jack S., hoodie guy. But that doesn't make sense to me because he seemed to be having lengthy conversations with him. He seemed to have been joking around with many of the young students that you see there. Most of them belong to fraternities. You have David Lodge and his friends standing behind. David is allegedly the one with the yellow hoodie and a black cap. He is important because he's in the 4chan article that was on Reddit, Twitter, and many other social medias. The 4chan article is important because the anonymous person who posted it, I believe from the fraternities, said that this was all planned. There were 3 targets: Ethan, Xana, and Maddie. I do understand it's an anonymous article, so we wouldn't know if it's the truth, but it sounds to be very convincing. There's a motive there, targets, and we know that in the Sigma Chi, a fight broke out between Eaton, Davids, and Barry. I guess Barry is one of the Davids. David L. is supposed to be on steroids, allegedly, and Eaton passed some remarks about that. People who are on steroids without a doctor's prescription usually isn't any good news because it has serious side effects. So I wonder what exactly happened at the Sigma Chi. This young man with the brown jacket appears to be very interesting for me because he ordered food, he waited for a while, and when he got his food, he chucked it in the trash. This was the last time Maddie and Kaylee were seen before they jumped on their ride. They left without John Jack Showalter, hoodie guy. Many people believe he was escorting them home, but I personally do not believe that. We could see the exchanges going on between Maddie and him. There's a point that Maddie said, "You, Mr. F you." John S. lives a minute from the girl's house. He lives in Queens Road. He's been kicked out of his fraternity for concerning and disturbing behavior like throwing dead animals in front of the sororities. He's known to have harassment behaviors and reports on him, especially towards females. There was a female who worked with him in Boise, Idaho. That's where he originally comes from. And the female said that she literally had to slap him, allegedly, to get him out of her way. She said that he called me and my friend the B word. So Jack John Showalter has a lot of nasty characters, allegedly. He's very skilled in hunting, and we've seen pictures of him having 2 K-bars around him. And in this horrific murders, K-bars was used. Joe Vito said that he did not see anything disturbing besides that the girls were just intoxicated, and he said that was entertainment for him, which I found to be really rude, unmindful, and unprofessional, because he said that in his interviews after the quadruple murders happened, and he knew about it. I don't find anything entertaining in a quadruple murder. Young souls were taken too soon. This is Hoodie Guy, Jack Showalter, and you can see how well he looks there, allegedly. Because in the grub truck, he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. The way he's dressed and everything seems like things have changed for him. Things have gone in the down way. I don't know him personally, but this is what I see. I'm sure for him to have been thrown away from his fraternity, he must have lost a lot of friends. And the question is, did he take it well after the girls left him at the grub truck? Allegedly was kicked out of the corner club too for either harassing Kaylee and Maddie, may they rest in peace, or some other girls. So it seems like he has a lot of allegedly antisocial personality disorders with him, symptoms like throwing dead animals, harassing females, calling them bad names. His alibi is that he drove to Boise, Idaho, to his parents' cabin that is 6 hours away, between 2 to 7 a.m. He was ruled out by the police, but I don't know if I buy his alibi. This picture is a picture of BF, one of the surviving roommates, and John Showalter. They both went to the same high school in Boise High School. You can see how comfortable they're with each other. So I wonder if this has anything to do with the involvement of the quadruple murders. BF was one of the surviving roommates, and she and DM were allegedly texting each other during the active murders going on. So we have DM, BF, JS, Maddie's boyfriend Jake, who allegedly know each other from Boise, Idaho. They have a connection. BF is important in this case because Brian Koberger and his lawyer, defense attorney, Ann Taylor, believes that BF has exculpatory evidence in this case. What did BF see? Did she call Brian Christopher Koberger to the scene? Was any of the surviving roommates dating Brian Koberger? Could he have been framed? Was he involved in the quadruple murders? Those are all answers that we just speculate about, but they are important to be investigated. Steve Congalves and his wife, Chrissy, have played a key role in this investigation. They have always been straight out to the media. They've been trying to get justice for the other 4 victims. I personally believe they've been doing a splendid job.
Waiting by. Their attorney Shannon Gray is also standing by as well. And thank you, all of you, for doing this and giving us this opportunity to touch base with you. I know this has got to have been one of the most difficult days of your life. Steve, let me begin with you. Your reaction after laying eyes on the person accused of doing this horrendous crime against your family.
I just looked at a guy that looks like a normal, everyday, kid. I mean, I didn't see anything there that caught my eye. I just was overtaken by the fact that I was in a courtroom going over a case that had to do with 2 people that I cared and loved about. It was a little bit unreal, but I was just overtaken by the moment.
Christy, I can imagine that is an understatement, being overtaken by something. You're in a club no one ever wants to belong to. There are so many others across this country who have been through what you've been through and say the same thing. It's unbelievable. They're numb. Does that sum up how you felt? Can you tell me what you thought?
I expected to feel just this immense amount of hate. And I'm sure that will come. I think that I'm a little bit in shock still. But looking at him, I just felt nothing. I mean, I just looked at him and I couldn't take my eyes off of him, his every moment. And I just could not believe that he has done what he has done. And I had a sick feeling for sure. It was very emotional. But on the other hand, I just was numb.
I expected him to be a bigger monster and a more intimidating.
I mean, I'm like, this is the guy?
Yeah.
This is the guy that murdered our daughter.
Are you going to be okay with continuing these court hearings? Are you going to show up at all of these court hearings? This is a lot. It's a lot to process. Before this, you were just parents of a couple of really great kids and living the American dream, and now there's this new normal in your life.
I think we'll lean on the prosecutor to tell us if the information's going to be to a level. Like I've already told them what I'm comfortable with hearing about the family house. I don't want to hear any of the gory details. So there'll be certain days that we're there and certain days that we check out,
We have Shannon that will keep us in tune with that as well. And we have other family members that will be going on some of those harder days. They feel that they can be there because we know it's a long road, but and it's a drive for us. But we'll do it every day if we have to. We just don't want to do big bad details.
There's there on the screen there were pictures of Kaylee as you're talking, and I'm always struck by how much she looks like you. Absolutely stunning.
You.
Just such a beautiful girl. Indeed.
Yeah, we didn't look at that. Mama's girl.
She looks like you, Steve. She's got some of you too. I just wanted to get a sense from you about justice. What is it? What does it look like for you? I mean, you're just starting this process.
For me, it's going to look a lot like an end. I mean, justice doesn't have a room where you can read books and you can go to school and you can have 3 meals and you can have your vegan diet. To me, that's not justice. Justice is when you leave the planet and the whole world is able to rejoice and be glad that you are not there. That's justice, and we will forgive him. We will. We're not going to have that heavy weight on us. We will forgive this individual, and we will, but he has to pay for what he's done. And it's not just our daughter, it's all the victims he needs to pay justice to. And, you know, that's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
Chrissy, it's always a shock to face the person who's alleged to have committed these horrendous acts and changed your lives forever. If you could say something to this person, what would you say?
I would just, I wouldn't want to give him too much. But I mean, I would tell him that, he destroyed our lives in an aspect. Does he realize what he has taken from us, from these 4 families? I mean, Ethan was a triplet. Maddie was an only child. Xana had siblings. Kaylee was one of 5. She was the middle child. She had 2 older siblings, 2 younger siblings. Just the immense loss. I mean, did he really think? I mean, he did really think about it, which makes it really hard. But why?
And I would add to that if you were looking for cruel girls that were bullies to you through your life when you were struggling, you picked the wrong girls. My girls have been through a lot, and they weren't the ones to pick on somebody that because they were overweight or they were struggling and people weren't. They were actually the ones to stick up for you. So yeah, you picked the wrong person if you were looking for vengeance on some people that were mean to you in your life, and you picked the wrong community. And we're gonna have to hold you accountable for that mistake.
Speaking of that accountability, has the prosecution or anybody from the prosecutor's office discussed the option of a death penalty? Because victims' families are consulted typically throughout the process, and this is an option on the table in the state of Idaho.
We've talked with them. We've had multiple meetings. I think they probably want to do it all the families together before they just approach one. That would make the most sense. But we've had meetings, but we have not crossed that actual
Question.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't even disclose just until recently that they were this close. They kind of said that, hey, give us some time. We think we have the right person. We're going to get this. But we couldn't go from that to death penalty or those type of details.
Do you both have a feeling as to how you would respond to that question once the prosecutors put it to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we know.
We're glad that we live in Idaho.
Definitely.
I'm assuming that you are in favor of the death penalty for this defendant.
If our daughters could switch places with him, and I'm saying Maddie is my daughter, we'd do it in a heartbeat. If they could sit there and have 3 squares, a place to live, and we could call them, we could write them letters, they could watch TV, they could get educated.
I would love if Maddie and Kaylee were doing life in prison right now.
Yeah, so
at least we could talk to them.
That's not.
They'd be breathing.
A punishment equivalent to being killed. That's God's role. And if you want to play God's role, then you're gonna have to go answer to Him.
Do you know if the Mogan family feels the same way? I know you all are very close with the Mogans.
We have not talked to them about that. I was going to call her last night, and I did not. So I'm not sure.
Easy to talk about.
I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that that they will, but I can't say that for sure.
They're very forgiving
family. It's incredible to hear the words forgiveness out of your mouth, Steve. It floors me. It's extraordinarily magnanimous. You're a very strong family if you're able to be there today, especially on day one of this process, seeing him for the first time. I would love to ask your attorney, Shannon Gray, if I can. Shannon, was there anything in the affidavit you didn't already know about? Are there things that you know more about than the public knows now?
Well, I think there were a lot of things in the affidavit that we had no idea about. The DNA, the sheet, we had suspected some things. The identification, I think we had suspected. But there were a lot of things that, there was quite a bit of information in that affidavit. I was actually surprised there was so much information in the affidavit. But, it looks like it's a solid case. And, I have I kind of look at the case in two different ways. As a former prosecutor, I look at it as a prosecution case, and it looks like a solid case. And then I flip the hat and I say, okay, as a criminal defense attorney, how would I look at it? And I still have a hard time with that, with the evidence that's been mentioned in the affidavit. And that's not the entire case. There'll be additional circumstantial evidence that'll be provided that will make more connections, hopefully, with the defendant in the case. And like they've always said, it's not just a arrest, it's a conviction. So we're hoping that that's the case.
It's strange that it's gone 9 months since this interview, and there hasn't been much stronger evidence that we know of. I don't think it's going to be an open and shut case. The knife sheath is the only thing that the police and the prosecution has put forth, and that is touch DNA. Touch DNA can be someone borrowing your scarf or your hat and taking it somewhere else. And if a horrific murder happens where the person took it, your touch DNA could come into play. Everything seems to be frozen in time. Right now, there's a lot of gag orders on this case. And what I find strange is that the surviving roommates were allegedly supposed to be sleeping on the first floor. But when the affidavit came out, it was said that DM was sleeping on the second floor, and she saw a man with a black clothing, a mask, and bushy eyebrows. Why wasn't that mentioned from the beginning? The sheriff, not the sheriff, the chief, Fry, said in the beginning that the roommates were not witness. They were just there. What exactly happened in that house? And why did it take 8 hours to call the Sigma Chi fraternity boys before even calling